Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to go over a couple of statements that came out, a statement and then a response um, that both came out from two very notable Hollywood people. Now, I wrote off the initial statement because it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. But Jim Carrey put out a statement about the redesign of the Sonic character for the Sonic movie. Now, as we all know, Sonic the Hedgehog came out with a trailer, I think about a month and a half ago. I did a video on it, and Sonic looks terrifying. He looks like a weird, freaky, blue, fuzzy, like moving stuffed animal. It's really weird looking. Um, but the thing is that after the extreme negative response that came out from that trailer, the director of the film decided to scrap the Sonic design and redesign him from the ground up to presumably look more like the Sonic that we know and love from both the cartoon and the video games and all the other media that he has. Now, when asked about this recently, Jim Carrey stated, and I quote, the audience being in on the creation, a collective consciousness, and jumping on the bandwagon. And basically the idea is that he is stating that they shouldn't have changed the design to stand by the creative vision they had for the film. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the creative vision they had for the film is not going to change if you change the Sonic the Hedgehog design to be more faithful to the original source material. And I think a lot of fans appreciated the fact that the director was willing to come out and say, hey, we messed up. We're going to change this. We're going to make this better so Sonic fans will like this movie. Even though it was going to cost extra money, and even though they were going to have to delay the film for a little bit. I believe it's been delayed for 2 months from its original date so that they could do the redesigns. So that's one of those things that I've been harping on a lot lately is people in Hollywood unwilling to admit when they're wrong. And I said this in a video I did on Saturday about celebrities realizing this, and this director did realize it. He did realize that this was a bad look, nobody liked it, and it should be changed. And they went and did that. Now, Jim Carrey has a problem with that because he thinks that it sets a quote-unquote dangerous precedent to allow decision making to be swayed by audience opinion resulting from a sense of ownership from their childhood. Here's the thing, and again, this goes back to things that I've been preaching before. You have a demographic. You have people that have been fans of Sonic the Hedgehog since they were children. You have children that are fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is an entirely new version that looks completely different from anything else we've ever seen. And you're telling me that they are basically entitled to the point where they shouldn't be, basically pandering to them is caving to entitled babies. That is what he's saying in a nutshell. And as we know, Jim Carrey has thoroughly gone off the deep end in recent years. He really hasn't made a good movie since probably the early 2000s. Let's be honest about that. I know he's been more involved with painting and things like that, but this is really his first big film role in what I would consider to be many years, or his first big comedic film role in many years. I know he's done some dramas here and there. He just did one, I think, last year. But this is something that shows the elitism of Hollywood and what they think. And they think, okay, we know better than the audience. We know better what you want than what you know you want. And that is a more dangerous precedent for people that want to make money as opposed to the opposite. Because I think that if you cave to a very vocal minority, then you wind up screwing things up because the majority of people don't like your film. But if an overwhelming majority say this is a horrible decision, you should probably change it. Now, that is the initial statement. The response, which is from Adi Shankar, uh, is pure gold. And I will say it again, this is more of the attitude that we need in Hollywood as opposed to what Jim Carrey's attitude to this is. And Adi Shankar had a very interesting letter, and I'm going to directly quote this because it is fucking hilarious. Dear Jim, the audience isn't in on the creation of the film you acted in. Sonic the Hedgehog was already created decades ago. This film, you lended your talents to adapted him incorrectly. It's this perspective that Hollywood is entitled to dismantle iconography as it sees fit and reassemble it in ways that often bear little resemblance to the source that has led to the friction between gamers and the film industry. Best, Adi. And he is 100% right. He is 100% right on this. And this is coming from somebody who dismantled Power Rangers, even though I thought that was kind of funny. And again, it's an unofficial little video. If you want to go watch, it's called Power/Ranger. It was a big thing like 3 or 4 years ago. That was very, very interesting, and it preceded the 2017 Power Rangers film adaptation that came out. But he's done a lot of other stuff. He's done stuff like Punisher: Dirty Laundry, where he got Thomas Jane back to play the Punisher, and Ron Perlman, I believe, also in that short. He's been an executive producer on some good films like Dread with Carl Urban. But this is one of those things where you have one person who's talking about the artistic integrity of a blue furry fucking hedgehog, and somebody else who's telling him something in common sense. And this is what Hollywood needs, is common sense. They need more people that think like Adi Shankar. And I've been over this many, many times before, is that Hollywood thinking they know better than their own audience is really just pretentious idiots that think that they know what you want more than you do. If they stood there and they listened to the fans and they listened to what they really wanted, they would make even more money than what they make now. They would make buttloads of money. And the director of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie listened to that. He listened to the fans and he said, okay, we're going to fix this. That's what you should do, instead of doing this other stuff. And I guarantee you, I 100% guarantee you, that if that movie were to have gone forward with the design that they had for him, it would have failed miserably. Now, it's not saying it still won't fail, not saying it still won't be a terrible movie, but I think it will do a lot better with Sonic fans, and I think that change went a long way with them, and I think this movie will make more money than if they had kept that original design and they had said F you to the fans. But I just thought that was a great response to Jim Carrey spouting more dumb gibberish. But, I want to know what you think. Do you think that Jim Carrey is right and they should have kept the design regardless of the backlash? Or do you think that Adi Shankar is right in saying that the material is way older than the film and the character is iconic? To change the look of the character like that and to bastardize it is just going to turn people off. Now, regardless of who you agree with, or if even if you think this is just completely funny, put your thoughts in the comments. Again, I like to know what you're thinking. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?